particular class we are going to learn about the subject is language disorders in children. Okay, the topic is theories of language acquisition. In the theories of language acquisition, we are going to learn about the nativist theory or the biological theories. So I began the class by saying that yes, I was in Calcutta. I saw this particular canvas in which there was a pendulum going to this side, there was a pendulum in between, and there was a pendulum going to the other extreme. This had been sold at a good price, and we were trying to understand that why this has been sold, what is great in it. And finally, the person said that yes, we in our thoughts and views would be having extreme views, this side and this side, but somebody who maintains a balance is somebody who found out the right way of living or right way of things. Similarly, theories of language acquisition, we have extreme views as well. The extreme views, let's say, to the left extreme would be the view of Noam Chomsky, Pinker, Lenneberg. These people are known as nativists. They are linguists primarily because they think that language is an innate phenomenon, the way birds learn to make nests. Nobody teaches them. With certain conditions, they are triggered to learn to make that particular nest. Similarly, we human beings have the innate capacity or the inborn or the inbuilt capacity to learn language. As opposed to this, B.F. Skinner was there, who is a psychologist, and this gentleman said that no. Language is a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior. Hence he called it as verbal behavior. So B.F. Skinner said that the way we learn cycling, the way we learn painting, the way we learn writing, similarly we learn to speak language based upon certain contextual inputs, reinforcements, etc. So this is known as the behaviorist theory. These are known as the nativist theory, and in between there are a series of theories. So today we are going to learn about the nativist theory given by Noam Chomsky, Pinker, Lenneberg. All of them are supporting it. It's a innate theory. Noam Chomsky said that human beings have the capability to learn language because there is something known as the LAD, language device. Language acquisition device, which is there in the brain. This particular language acquisition device has a set of grammar into it, which is known as the universal grammar. This universal grammar gets tuned by the language input which comes from outside. For example, if you are in Tamil Nadu, you will be learning Tamil because the grammar of Tamil will be getting triggered in the LAD, in the universal grammar, which is there in the LAD, and you learn Tamil. Similarly, a person from England would be learning British English because of the tuning of it. An example was given of your cell phone. The networks may be different, but because your cell phone has the capability to catch all the networks, it would be catching up all the networks seamlessly. You don't have to switch on again and again, automatically. That doesn't mean that there is nothing in the cell phone. The cell phone is empowered for that. Similarly, we are empowered for learning language. Example which I gave, how do you see that there is a universal grammar which is there, there is a LAD? I said, okay, the word perestroika. This is a very popular word because when we were kids, that time this USSR broke up, and this word was very popular that particular period of time. It broke up into small states. So perestroika is a Russian word. So I asked you whether it's a Tamil word, you said no. Whether it's a Khasi word, no. Whether it's a Hindi word, no. Bengali word, no. Assami word, no. By hearing it, you can say that no, it's not a Indian word, because the rules by which the words or the sound units are formed in our languages are there in our universal grammar. We are aware about it. We may not be voluntarily, we may not be consciously aware about it, but we are aware about it. So we can say that perestroika is not a word in our Indian languages. Similarly, this is one simple same sentence in different languages. Ram eats an apple. Ram is subject, eats verb, apple is object. Ram ne seb khaya. Ram subject, seb is object, and khaya is a verb. Ram apple sabditan. Again, subject, object, verb. Do you see? English and Indian languages, the syntax or the arrangement of the word changes. So it changes. But still you can see in English there is an, which is an extra thing. In Hindi there is a ne, which is an ram ne, which is the extra thing. In Tamil you don't have anything like that. That means every language will be having a grammatical structure to it, meaning to it, sound units to it. So these are there in our universal grammar and they get triggered, activated by the input. Because this is there in our brain, hence this is known as a innate phenomenon restricted to human beings. So the nativist theory of language acquisition. What are the supports? The supports are the Brodmann area. We told we have language areas in the brain, Broca's area, Wernicke's area, angular gyrus, supramarginal gyrus, arcuate fasciculus, corpus callosum. In the occipital lobe we have areas to recognize facial expressions and all that. So these set of Brodmann areas give a proof that language is biological in nature. It's there in your brain. Furthermore, the majority, 90% of them would be having it in the left hemisphere. So these all support the biological theory. Similarly, Lenneberg came up with the theory that there is a critical age to learn language. He gave example of Jeannie. There is a girl who was kept isolated till 13 years in America. I have told you to study that particular thing. Later on, they brought her back. She picked up words but could not learn so-called language to be used in context. So critical age gone, things gone. Amala Kamala, feral babies or wolf babies nurtured in the jungles of India could not learn to speak languages because they lost out a critical age. Similarly, sign language studies are there. Deaf babies, if they are not exposed to sign language, proper sign language, which has words, which has its own symbols connected by rules and a context how it is used, then they also don't acquire the language, sign language, with the proper proficiency as they grow old. So these three show that there is a critical age hypothesis or a critical age in which language has to be learned. That is, the first language input should be going in. Then the third evidence is, which has shown that even if inside the human speech anatomy, if you see, then in the speech anatomy, the larynx of the human beings are placed much lower as compared to the apes. Hence, the resonating area which is available above is not sufficient. It will be a muffled speech. Similarly, the area inside the oral cavity is much more as compared to the apes. That's why the clarity of speech will be there in human beings, which means that even if you give the brain of a human being with all the language areas into it to an ape, it will not come out with same clarity of speech because the speech mechanism is not empowered to carry out the speech process as human beings do. Clear? So another evidence that language is biological in nature. And last but not the least, FOXP2 is a gene which was there in a particular family. 50% of them were having dyspraxia. When they found out this particular gene is responsible for the purpose of speech production, FOXP2, known as the speech genes. So based upon these, Chomsky said, and the linguist said that language is a innate behavior because of the LAD, we are in a position to learn language. Correct? That's about the biological. Thank you.